I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? The Buccateers are back. It's a Sunday fun day. We're joined by the great J-Lo. J-Lo, my friend, better late than never. We're going to have to start finding you for these late arrivals, my friend. As Richard says, rise and grind here on the West Coast.
West
the
side?
great DPL and says, acknowledge me. Bucs 78, fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs, indeed. Christopher Cole in on the early action. It's lively in here. Let's go Bucs, Lightning, and Cubs. Yes, sir. Cubs with the huge win yesterday. A lot of our teams with huge wins this weekend. I know J-Lo's still celebrating one of those big wins, being a Gator guy. J-Lo, how the hell you doing coming off the heels of that huge victory, my friend? Yeah, there we go.
I think you already know, brother. Chomp, chomp. Final Four, baby. Woo,
Yeah.
man. What anxiety those games give you, bro. Fine, ecstatic. Great weekend of sports, man. Let's go.
Yeah, that was a tremendous game. At one point, they looked down and out late in the game, down double digits. Then they just took over. Their shooters started shooting. Their rebounders started rebounding. And next thing you know, Florida was on their way to the next level, man. I can't wait for these games today. I think they're going to be more fun games on our plates today. We'll get into all the latest and greatest action from around March Madness. But for those who have missed it, I think it's going to be Florida-Auburn. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. I think Auburn-Florida will be an SEC battle coming out of that region. But we're going to be joined by Joey Nips here in a little bit, talking all great things sports. J-Lo, you have interest in an NFL league that's starting up. Well, not NFL. Hopefully one day a feeder league to the NFL, but a springtime football league we're going to get our hands into and so much more. But first and foremost, brother, 3.5 weeks away from the NFL draft. It's kind of surreal that we're this close to the draft. It seems like it was just the Super Bowl. Seems like it was just the combine. Seems like it was just the start of free agency. J-Lo, this happens every offseason, brother. Now, before you know it, we're looking dead into the eyes of the NFL draft. It's one of those feelings that are exciting. It's kind of nerve-wracking because it does shape the direction of the franchise for the future. So when you look at the NFL draft, my friend, you want to get the picks right. You're welcoming about 5 to 7 new players when it's all said and done. But J-Lo, what say you on the upcoming NFL draft being 3.5 weeks away? Just a short year ago, you were in Chicago for the draft. Now you're Tampa bound, but we're still going to be bringing everybody our live day 3 coverage special. That's for sure. So join us here on day 3. We do the best live coverage around of the draft. But J-Lo, 3.5 weeks away. What say you? NFL draft time is coming, my friend.
Oh, I'm excited, man. It's one of my favorite events in the offseason is a draft. Finally getting our new players in there who's going to step in and help us win football games. You know, especially it's the day after my birthday. So that's even more awesome. Gets me more pumped, you know. So that's one way of expressing my feelings for the draft, but I'm looking forward to it. It's getting better. I'm watching more tape on other prospects, other players for day 2 and 3, which makes it more exciting because, you know, at the Bucs that you get the guy you want, then you get more excited. It's like, wow, I've been studying this guy and the Bucs actually picked him, which I've nailed a couple of times in the past.
Yeah, we've done a good job the past couple of years predicting some of the mid to late round draft picks even here in the program. I know Stunna had the Payne Durham pick, as did we. We hit a couple other ones last year, the year before. So tune into the Buccateers when it comes April, which is our next show. we really start doing our mock drafts, who we want. We have special guests on at mock drafts. So J-Lo, myself, the rest of the Buccateers gang, will be bringing you our draft knowledge, guests, and so much more, opinions, who we want to see as our future Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before we bring in Joey Nips down there looking like Baker in the batting cage pregame at Steinbrenner Field, we're going to go through the comments quickly. Our guy Richard, time flies and you're having fun. Yes, that is true, Richard. Time does fly. I can't believe we're probably already at 300 episodes, but I didn't keep track of all the pregame shows at first, so I can't believe we're already on episode 264 of the Buccateers. It's truly insane. Olive, good morning, fellas. Happy Sunday to you, Olive. We love it. Hey, J-Lo, Clayton Jr. is from my high school. There you go. So that's a good connection there.
Stud. Dude's a stud.
He was balling, man. He was balling. I love the new Bucs draft hat. Comes with the skull pin. Joey, have you noticed the new Colts draft hat? I know all the NFL draft hats come with pins for the upcoming season. I'd be curious to see what the Colts pin is. Maybe a horseshoe. Are you familiar with that?
I saw it this morning. Good morning, gentlemen, by the way. I saw it this morning. Probably, I don't know if I'll pull the trigger on it yet in terms of a purchase, but I do like it. I believe I saw the pin on there. I didn't look close enough exactly at what it was, but man, I'm bricked up for everything you're talking about. The draft, baseball. Personally, I'm excited most for episode 269 of this show. So I'm ready to rock and roll and get things started. So
yeah, you just got to keep your socks on during that.
Oh no, socks are. I have one off right now. MLB. Aaron Judge was going crazy yesterday. Steph Curry for Florida, as we just talked about, going crazy for J-Lo yesterday. So a bunch of cool things in sports this weekend for sure.
So I did pull it up. The Indianapolis Colts logo is an oil drum. It looks like I'm not really sure what, if anyone could see that, but that's a Colts pin on their hat. I think it's like an oil canister, but
yeah,
not 100.
Collar Town trying to get that shown off probably a little bit would be my guess.
And they're doing the white and black version of the hats, which is pretty cool. You get to choose your color. To me,
how much are they going for?
Probably like, I think for 40, 50 bucks. It's crazy nowadays, but that's about what a hat is. Look at this one.
Typical kind of.
This is hilarious. When it rains, it pours. The Saints umbrella.
Man, that is trash. Just like that organization, just trash.
Oh, but Joey, we're 3.5 weeks away from the NFL draft, my friend. We were talking about ramping up draft coverage the closer we get, obviously. But what say you? I mean, J-Lo and I were talking about drafts are franchise-altering things. You hit home runs on the day of the draft, your franchise ascends greatly. You have a bad draft class, well, a lot of franchises do, like New England, not last year, but years before that, the end of Belichick era, he was doing terrible, and it kind of reflects on the state of the Patriots now. So we know these things are very important, highly important. Sorry, JC Allen, if you're listening, cover your ears, under the cover Patriots fan. But Joey, what say you on the state of the Colts? They're kind of at, this is a big year for their QB. Is Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, or somebody else going to be their 2026 starting QB next year? This is a huge year for the Indianapolis Colts coming into this draft.
Oh, yeah, and that's why, we did a lot of defensive fixes that we mentioned on previous shows coming into this draft. So under Lou Anarumo, we're going to be good there. On offense, I expect draft picks. And tight end, I would like Warren or Loveland, both Big Ten bodies, both guys who really seem to be going probably top 20 of this draft, depending on where you're looking. I don't do all the mock drafts too early, but like you said, April 1st from now on, I will be looking because a lot of the free agents have now found their a lot of the good free agents, I should say, have found their final destinations, and they will wait the rest of them into post-draft most likely. So really looking forward to April, like you said, in the draft. And for Richardson and Jones, Richardson especially, who is still the future of this franchise, you just need to get him a tight end. And I think you could do it here. And if not, guys like Dallas Goedert or others could still be available. But that's where I'm looking at in my first round definitely tight end for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I think they go tight end regardless. Can't go wrong with the two. Obviously, I prefer Ward, not only as Penn Statum, but I think he's just more of an all-around player. I think the Michigan Cat is more of a physical specimen. He's the natural tight end body. He could go up and get it, while Warren's more the nitty-gritty, put his nose in the dirt. Hey, you need me to run the ball? You need me to throw the ball? You need me to catch the ball? I could do that for you, coach. So either way, the Colts can't go wrong. I think the last time two tight ends were this hyped may have been when both first-round tight ends were from Iowa way back in the day, when Noah Fant was a first-round selection, and so was his co-part over there. Why am I drawing the kid from the Lions? Drawing a blank on his name, but Sam Laporta, I believe, him and Noah Fant were out of the same draft class. So pretty crazy there. Or it was Hawkinson. It was either Hawkinson.
It was Hawkinson.
That's right. But all these tight ends, man, going first round. That's what it was. Noah Fant, and those two came from the same school. They both were at Iowa, first round picks the same year. So kind of incredible.
The Midwest produces amazing tight ends, like you just said with Iowa, but the Big Ten and Notre Dame, if you look at tight ends in the NFL, most of these good tight ends are coming from the Midwest region.
And even Sam Laporta, name blipped him. He came from Iowa as well years later. So kudos to that. J-Lo, quick on tight ends.
I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those first two tight ends I mentioned. But to me, Iowa, Notre Dame, they're tight end I'll take any of those guys any day of the week.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Iowa, even Penn State growing a little bit into tight end right? They've had some past successful tight end. You're seeing them more and more lately in the NFL level. The kid on Jacksonville, they're putting all the faith in him. Brenton Strange, he's going to be a tight end, starting tight end this year as they let go of Evan Ingram. Pat Fryermuth is out there. Mike Gesicki is out there. So Penn State getting their fair share of tight ends. Now you'll throw Ty Warren into the mix. April Fool's Day is certainly upon us.
Watch out, Tony.
Yeah, well, keep those hands away from me. That's it, sir. We'll have to discuss that off camera, I'm sure. But April Fool's, this isn't a joke. We have football this weekend. We had a game Friday. We had a game Saturday. And no joke, we have two games today. We're going to let the head of the UFL here start us off with J-Lo, as J-Lo is a devoted Battlehawks fan. Anthony Beck leads the way over there, former Bucs tight end. This is going to be the segment where we all pick our UFL teams for the 2025 season. I know Joey has the Roughnecks, and I know J-Lo.
They're still around, right? Because he's Dan Tatum.
Yep.
Okay.
They're 0-1. So the scoreboard from this weekend goes as followed already, as we do have two games in the books. We had on Friday night the Battlehawk. J-Lo's team pounded Joey's team 31-6 on Friday night.
And then
cause law, bro.
Oh, shut up.
Our good buddy Plus joins the show. It's good to see everyone go Bucs. Good to see you too, Plus. Please, no more Dr. Plus if you're listening to. It's Michael Plus. It's the Plus. Come on. We're graduating and educating here, but it's great to have
Plus.
The Michael Plus University. And then the Brahmas Jeans team got ran over by the Renegades yesterday, 33-9. And then today at noon, actually kicking off right now is the Panthers and Showboats on ESPN. And then we have the Stallions and Defenders at 2:00. So J-Lo, kick us off with the UFL, my friend.
So far, great start, high scoring, the Battlehawks got to a good start and just blew out the hell out of the Roughnecks, which was awesome. That's a good start. I caught a little bit of the other game as well, much as I could. It's kind of hard to watch, when you're watching your Gators with the anxiety building up. But definitely it's exciting, especially if you're a real football fan. If you want some entertainment, you see some players that didn't work out so hot in the NFL, trying to get a second shot on playing the UFL, and it's worked out nicely. There's players that made NFL rosters from the UFL. You have the kicker on the Lions, Bates, I believe it's his name, Bates. I can't remember his name top of my head, but he's a good kicker. He's made the Lions football games. And then
the kid from the Cowboys, Aubrey, the kicker, he's been bombing them.
Exactly. So really, it's a good opportunity for them to get a second chance. I'm a big believer in Anthony Bett. I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to be coaching on an NFL or a college level soon because I think he's a great motivator. Kind of like a Dan Campbell to me, just a fiery guy, and that's something you like to see at times when it comes to coaching.
Before we bring in the Great Cats to get his opinion, I want to get Joey Nips, but I need a new team this year as well because the Tampa Bay Vipers are done, the Tampa Bay Stallions are done, and then you had my team last year got rid of Barlow, the former Buck, who was their head coach, and now I need a new team. I know who I'm going to announce, but we'll let Joey talk about the UFL quickly.
Oh, yeah, and I'm not going to be overly positive here. They started on a terrible weekend. How are you going to go? I mean, MLB opening.
That's what Christopher just said too.
Yeah, I mean, you started at the wrong time. MLB just opening up. Been trying to have as many games on as that possible. I checked out a little bit of the Rays because it's nice to see them outside. I actually enjoyed watching that, but that's another talk. I also enjoyed the NCAA March Madness tournament. Obviously, we're at Sweet 16, Elite 8 level. You have the women's hoops going on at a crazy time right now. So who knows when the perfect time to start this stuff is, but I was flipping the channels, and if it wasn't for that, I would have had no idea this was even on this weekend. And the first couple of games were blowouts. So they're going to have to make a big comeback here later in the weeks. J-Lo, like I said, don't get used to anything where your team beats mine, but congratulations on this one. You stole the gold here. It's your weekend being a Florida fan as well, so congrats to you. But I just really, I don't know if it's just because these leagues are never going to be as good to watch or marketing's an issue or what might have you, but they have The Rock at the top of this thing, one of the most popular guys in the world, so it's hard to imagine marketing can be an issue. To me, it's just hard for them to get a lot of viewership and pick the perfect time. I'm hoping in the heat of the summer when it's just baseball, really, that maybe that's when they get going a little bit more, but I don't like the start time on this whole thing.
Our guy from Nebraska, Puckhead, joins the program saying, "Morning, men." We got Zach Johnson, Bucs by 30, watching us on Facebook. My guy Emo is joining us on Facebook as well. So, crowded room. Mr. Katz, first of all, great to see you back, brother. I know it looks like you've been around the world lately, so glad to see you back on the program. Looked like a cool trip wherever you may have went. And secondly, my friend, do you have any interest in the UFL or Anthony Beck, former Buccaneer, coaching in the UFL, or does it not really tickle your fancy?
I wish Anthony Beck well. He was a solid player for the Bucs. My interest in the UFL is probably right about zero. I was in Utah, by the way. I was in Salt Lake City. I saw the Lightning play. Unfortunately, they lost. There were a lot of us. There were a lot of Lightning fans
How
there.
was that stadium?
It's meant for basketball, clearly, but it's actually pretty nice. And then I went down to a beautiful town called Moab amidst all the red canyons. You probably saw the photos. It's an incredible place to be and to visit. I'd highly recommend it to anybody. It's just, I've never seen such beautiful scenery. It's also, pretty quiet because it's not really near anything. So it was really a fascinating trip. I haven't traveled in a long time. I'd been to Park City, Utah once before, a very long time ago, and I was like, it's kind of nice out here. Maybe I'll go back someday. And someday came about 15 years later. I finally went back. So yeah, it was a fun trip to be sure. Everybody, so many people there. Yeah, I had a great time. I really, went zip lining. I went whitewater rafting. I did a little hiking. I did some scenic drive, a lot of scenic driving, a lot of driving. Yeah, but a lot of scenic driving. Yeah, it was a great trip and I highly recommend Moab, MOAB, if you ever want to check out a very off the beaten path but beautiful place in the Utah desert, close to Colorado, close to Arizona, down in that kind of corner area. Check it out. You'll love it.
Yeah, it looked beautiful based on your photos. I'm like, my Lord, this is awesome stuff. And the fact that you get to see a Lightning game on the road too is incredible there as well. So that's really cool stuff. Better than the UFL, in my opinion. No, I'm kidding. No back on the UFL, but
like the Arena Football League. We had the Tampa Bay Storm. They won a lot. Derek Brooks was involved at one point. I was into that. The UFL, I just can't. I just can't get into it. I guess it's not hard for me to choose a team in not a new sport, but a new league. And especially, the Vipers aren't even here now. When they were here, I was kind of into it, and then they left, and now it's like, whatever, hard for me.
I'm
And
the
they
same.
started at a terrible time too, because you shouldn't start when you're competing against March Madness and MLB opening week. That's how's anybody gonna really know? It's like, oh, the UFL started. Well, why now? It's like you're not gonna beat those other two. So
I had no idea they were on. As Joey and you
Yeah.
alluded to, terrible start time. I looked on Saturday and I seen a tweet saying, "Oh, we opened up our league Friday." I'm like, did you realize you have MLB opening weekend? You have March Madness, women's and men's going on. You have other sport. You have basketball and hockey in the thick of things. It's like, why wouldn't you wait a couple weeks till other sports die down a little bit? People get acclimated with baseball back. March Madness comes to an end. You could really dominate a bigger area of viewership, in my opinion, if you happen to wait. But I'm the same as you, Cats. I'm going to claim a team this year just because to claim him. I'm going to claim the Michigan Panthers because Mike Nolan's their head coach. And you know what? I loved his little tie when he was a 49ers head coach. He was a class act. So give me Mike Nolan and the boys. But to be honest, my intrigue in the league fell off greatly once the Vipers left. I was all on board I was rooting
too.
I had a t-shirt, I had a winter cap. Joey and I were getting some merch, and the next thing you know, the league halted with COVID and Tampa never got a team back. So sad to see, but not really interested as much these days. Maybe if the NFL made it a feeder league, I'd become more interested. But even Anthony Beck being a head coach really has a hard time drawing me in. Speaking of drawing me in, MLB opening weekend and Elite Eight continue. Those don't have a hard time drawing me in. I think the men's and women's college basketball games this past weekend have been fantastic. Some baseball games have been fantastic. Cats, we're going to start with you and go around the horn here. Opening day, March Madness. How is it quenching your thirst? Rays baseball is back, 1-1. Awesome Friday night win. Struggled offensively yesterday.
Yeah, all those hits, all those hard hit balls, and only one found grass for an RBI. The Rockies played some good defense. I honestly couldn't have named more than two Rockies players coming into this. But boy, they sure play some defense. They don't do much else, but they did enough to win yesterday. Good start for the Rays. It is, the atmosphere. I was not there. It is cool seeing them outside. It's for the wrong reasons, obviously, but people that went told me they had a great time. The atmosphere was terrific from what I heard, and it is cool seeing them. Seeing those white jerseys outside is you don't expect to see it, so that's cool. March Madness, I've checked in a bit. The Bolts have been playing some good hockey. They had that rough weekend in Utah and Vegas, but they came back home, won the last three. So we got a tight race here for the top in the Atlantic. Really hoping they can get to the top. They don't really care as much as fans do because they ask them. They say we just want to make the playoffs and be playing well. But as a fan, I'm like, yeah, win the damn division. So it's close, it's exciting, and that's good for hockey.
It is very good for hockey. Joey gets a shout out with his guns on the prowl. JC Allen says someone check to see if he's got a permit for those guns. The big JC Allen, our guy from SI Game Day. Joey, are baseball starting up, March Madness? What's been tickling your fancy more between the two? And it's really a great time to be a sports fan. And J-Lo smells like green beans is what JC Allen says. Oh boy, what can you do?
My weekend really got kicked off, to be honest, on Thursday when I know the Chicago Bulls aren't always relevant worldwide these days, but when you beat LeBron James on a half-court shot from Josh Giddey, who should be getting paid by us Chicago Bulls soon because it's been tremendous to see him really grow this year with Kobe White and our rookie Buzelis. So the Bulls, I'm not saying they're back by any means, but it was really good to see a young core. Twice in a week we beat LeBron, and I always enjoy that. So that kind of started my weekend off. And then the Chicago Cubs, 1, 2 out of 3 so far versus Arizona. I've liked what I've seen. Kyle Tucker hit his first home run as a member of the Cubs. And
Tampa's home.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, it's been all over the place. I was enjoying. I said Florida was dead in the water with about 8 minutes left, and look what they did. There's been so many good things on. I mean, I even have this UFL on right now. I haven't noticed one player yet, so it might be the last time they're on my TV. But besides that, I'm all over the place. I got multiple TVs set up, and I'm just taking in everything in general. Like I said, I've watched the Yankees 8 or 9 home runs yesterday. I found it interesting with their new bat style. I didn't even know that was a thing until they were talking about it, where they load more of not the top of the bat. It's more in that like 2/3 up the range. I don't know what you call it.
As long as you have the same amount of lumber, the bat could be constructed accordingly to plan. And I guess
Sounds like cheating to me. No, I'm kidding. But hopefully the league.
A lot of people have already kind of said that.
It sounds like a loophole.
That's fine though. The league will adjust as they do to anything. The Rays have done some things that at first, I'll be honest, it was like, wow, that it worked for, and then the league would, all catch up and do the same thing. Sooner or later, the whole league will do the same thing. That's what'll happen. At least many teams, maybe not everyone, will do the same thing, and then it'll look a little less like. Also, they were facing Nestor Cortez was the Yankee pitcher, actually a likable guy for a Yankee. I always liked the dude, and you can't tell me that they didn't have a tell on him to hit. What did they hit? 5 home runs on 5 pitches. I mean, that wasn't the extra wood in the bat. They obviously. It doesn't mean you're going to tip pitches if you're facing your former team. They obviously had something on. I mean, good on them for that, but I'm not buying that it has anything other than that because he's a guy that doesn't even give up that many homers, let alone 5 in an inning. So good for them on picking up on a tell whatever he was doing. And but yeah, that wasn't anything with the thicker bat.
And Cats, to piggyback off your point, they used those bats the first game. They scored 4 runs. Not saying that's bad, but it's
they weren't facing they weren't facing Cortez in that game. I don't think were they?
Nope. So you're exactly right. I think that has something to do with it. The familiarity, like sure, maybe the bats give a little credit to, and what the hell not? That just weird, man. They look like those bats.
Such an extreme line when I see 5 pitches, 5 homers, or whatever it was. I'm like, you're probably never going to see that again. I agree. Plus, yes, maybe the Rays should try. I'm sure the Rays will try it because they're not too too ashamed to be the copycats after they've been copycatted so many times. So I'm sure they'll give it a try as well. But yeah, it's only 2 games. The bats will come around. I always say that. Sometimes it does.
That it takes time. A lot of these guys, spring training's a whole different animal.
So long. It's too long.
It is too long. To me, you need 3 weeks at most to spring game.
So long that the Cubs were able to go to Japan, play a couple games, fly all the way back, and play a couple more. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the MLB is worst at scheduling, too. It's like that Japan series is a debacle. Have it in the middle of the year or something, or have it lead up to opening day. There's no point in having it 8 days before opening day, and then it's like you Cubs come back. It makes no sense. You play 2 regular season games, but then you come back and play spring training game. It's just ugly and messy.
Speaking of Japan, I got to mention this. I was listening to the Joe Buck Fan podcast a few weeks ago. Chris Sims was on there, and he was talking about how the year the Bucs went and played a preseason game in Japan. It was the year then they were defending Super Bowl champs, and he said that it took them 3 weeks to recover from the time change, and it really screwed a little with their season, as we know, didn't go well. And I noticed the NFL has never gone back to, and I'm not knocking Japan, by the way, but the NFL has never gone back for a preseason game or otherwise Japan. They go everywhere else, it seems. And I'm sure they'll end up back in Japan for a Global Series game to try to grow the game. And I guarantee you they're not interested over there. I hate to say it.
Fun fact, in my memorabilia collection, I have Warren Sapp's practice used jersey from the Japan series.
That's a great piece of memorabilia right there.
It's really cool. They use unique one for Japan. It was tricolored. You had a pewter white and red element to it. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I remember that. Even the preseason jerseys that game had the Tokyo patches on it and everything. And it's just a wacky thing, man. To me, if you're going to do the Japan series, lead it up to the All-Star break or something like that.
Yeah.
You give the guys 5 to 7 days off, then hey, you made the All-Star team, you don't want to play, that's fine because you're in Japan, whatever the case might be. But to open the year with it, I hate the Dodgers, don't get me wrong, but that's unfair to the Cubs and Dodgers to be asked to do.
Oh, come on. Morel went 2 for 2 yesterday, and he's not starting today.
Neither is Junior Caminero. The Rays are the Rays do things a little bit,
I tried to
they do things differently.
I tried to tell Joey that yesterday because he goes, "What's Morel's deal this year?" I go, "Hey, he might start some games and get 1 at bat. He might not start a game and get 3 at bats. That's just the way the Rays go. You had
He'll pinch
Jonathan.
it.
Yeah, you had Jonathan Aranda yesterday look really good, and then a right or a lefty came in and he got bent. That's what the Rays do. J-Lo.
Hopefully he'll continue. I'm glad he had 2 hits because last year was a bit of a struggle when he got here. So when he got here, he actually started off fast. He had a homer in his first game here, and then after that, it was a real struggle. So hopefully this year goes better for him. I think it will. I always liked Chris, so I think it will. But glad to see him get 2 hits, and he might get a chance off the bench yet today.
Poor guy can never get going so far in the bigs. This is his year if he does. Plus says maybe the Rays should try those wooden bats. Richard says my Dodgers are undefeated and my Calgary Flames are in a rebuild. So funny about your Dodgers, Richard. My sports app, before we get J-Lo's March Madness and baseball takes and move on here, but my sports betting app this was after the Dodgers were 2-0 already with the Japan series. There was a bet, to me it was way too easy, first team to 10 wins in the major leagues, and the Dodgers were listed at 2-1 odds. I'm like, I'm gobbling that up. They already have a 2-game head start on every other team in the MLB, so the Dodgers had to win 8 games in theory before another MLB team wins 10 games. I don't care, it's only 2-1 odds. I'm taking that all day. So Richard, your Dodgers could win me money. J-Lo, do you agree with Katz on the Rays, with Pluss's saying of maybe try the wood bats with the Rays? But what's tickling your fancy? The Gators, the Rays, the Battlehawks? You're in a good time of year.
Oh, yeah, great time. I just wish these players could stay healthy on the Rays. Josh Lowe, he has bad luck.
Yeah, very.
Now we got to fucking see DeLuca fucking playing. I can't stand that, guys. I'm sorry. He's not that good to me.
Well, he was already going to start every day.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, just some of these moves we made, trading away quality players, it's just not panning out for us right now. But hey,
it's only 2 games. It's only 2 games. I know a little bit about Jose. Jose Siri was traded for a few reasons. I'm going to just leave it at that.
Well, yeah, Siri was a little crybaby, so we can get that another time. But
plus, they did average 5 runs a game in 2021, and we lost to the Red Sox in the first round. But I hear you, they didn't pitch as well that year because McClanahan was young and Boz was young, and Glasnow was having his best year, and he got hurt, was out for the season. And, so they've averaged 5 before. They've done it before. I think they can. This group, I don't. There's some question marks. There's some youth, and there's some. So there's question marks, but I think they can score. I think they'll be better offensively than last season. I mean, they were really wretched last season offensively, and it was so brutal. And I don't see them being that bad this year. I really don't. I think you'll see a better showing from them offensively. It hasn't shown out through 2 games yet.
Especially when Ha-Sung Kim comes back, their big free agent kind in this off season. He could hit 15 to 20 homers a year. He could steal 25 bags a year. As Real Bucs Talk said, Chandler Simpson, he looked really good this spring as well. So
he should be. Yeah,
between prospects and veterans, the Rays are looking to turn the corner. But J-Lo, wrap us up for that, and we got time to move on to a couple of other things still here on the Sunday FUNDAY Buccateers.
I mean, for one thing, that game last night for Florida, I mean, wow, what a comeback in the last 2.5 minutes of just taking over the game. Thank God Texas Tech had poor free throw shooters. They couldn't shoot free throws for nothing. That's what cost them the game, truthfully. But I'll take the win. I'll take the Final Four appearance now. I think this team's very strong and very, not really talked about as much because all it talked to me is about Duke, because it's Duke, I guess. But I'm excited for the Final Four, whether it's Auburn we play first or who's Auburn playing again? I'm sorry.
Auburn is playing Michigan State.
Thank you, Michigan State. So either way, Florida's already went toe to toe with Auburn. I was at your place, Tones, when we watched the game, Florida and Auburn. So it'll be an intriguing, rematch, I guess. But I'm excited for the Final Four. Baseball.
As Plus said, great basketball tournament so far. It's really been incredible. And I hate to take it away from the little pups, the little dogs, the Cinderella stories. But one benefit of all the bigwigs, the powerhouse programs winning, you get the better matchups as time goes on. Like in women's, you've been getting awesome matchups. In men's, you've been getting awesome matchups because the lack of underdogs. Speaking of underdogs, we are not underdogs here on the Buccateers. We are the Buccateers, and we're going to do a little shift in the schedule. we're usually Tuesdays and Saturdays or Sundays during the off season. Until about July, we're going to be shifting, doing Wednesdays and Saturdays or Sundays in the off season. We're moving to Wednesdays because Joey and I are actually in a Tuesday night basketball league upcoming. So we're going to be getting our, what's that Will Ferrell movie called? Tropic Thunder. No, not Tropic Thunder.
You're talking about Along Came Polly?
No, but the semi-pro. Get that funk out of my face. Get that funk out of my face. We're gonna trade Joey for a laundry machine like they did in the movie. Hey, what happened to this?
I just brought my Tyrese Halliburton Puma blue turquoise color. I am amped. I might roll my ankle 4 times in the first half, but I'm going to be looking good doing it. So I'm amped up.
I just remember when the Tropic Flints, that's where I got Tropic Thunder from. Their name was the Tropic Flints. They come, they're like, hey, where'd this player go? They had a laundry machine. Will Ferrell's like, made a little trade, the player for a laundry machine. It's like, that movie was hilarious. But Along Came Polly, Rain Dance, White Chocolate. You had the great Sandy Lyle shit in his pants, throwing up buckets. But hey, don't shit your pants here. You're on the Buccateers. Hit that like button, subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. Plus knows what I'm talking about. Flint Tropic, as he said, excited for the Bucs in this draft. Should be able to get some good players for the defense. So yeah, before we get to the breadwinners' final words and all that, free agency winding down, draft is winding up. Cats, if the Bucs can make one more free agency address before the draft comes, you would like them to do blank.
I'd like them to add yet another pass rusher. I don't feel you can ever have enough of them. And also, plus, I'm excited too. I believe if my math is right, are we about 3.5 weeks now? Exactly. It starts on a Thursday. So 3 Thursdays from this Thursday, right? Man. And every mock I look at, it seems, and I have no problem with this, I do. It seems they really feel we're going to end up with Jahad Campbell. And usually, when so many people say the same thing, that's exactly what does not happen. By the way, see, it becomes like, oh, they're all the Bucs. It's like, well, then they're not. That's not who they're going to end up with. But I do want to quickly ask you all, and I'll ask Plus about. I just lost the middle. Campbell. Does his injury affect where he goes in the draft? I know I like Donovan Ezeraku quite a bit because I like Todd Bowles loves players like that. He can play corner and safety, if I'm not mistaken. He's a ball hawk. That, I think, might be the better pick, only because I'm a little concerned with Jahad Campbell's injury situation.
I think the more so thing that makes Jahad Campbell fall a little bit is he falls victim to his position. It's not a highly drafted one. It's not a strongly drafted one. You could find some good value for middle linebacker later on in the first round, early second round. Look at what the Lions did with that kid from Iowa State. You draft him mid, little later on instead of wasting a top 5 or 10 pick on like a Devin White type who is truly a boom or bust. So I don't think Campbell's injury will make him fall, so to speak. I think he should be a top 10 talent. If he falls, it's going to be because of his position more so instead of his injury, and it seems like Plus is alongside that too. Joey,
I like Ezeraku a lot. Someone showed me his tape, and I just, I will ask quickly. Plus, can he play corner and safety? Because we're going to move Tyke to safety, I believe, which is his natural position. I thought Ezeraku can play both, but I could be mistaken.
Not to cut you off, but he's an edge rusher. He's not.
He's the edge from Boston College.
Who the hell am I mixing him up with? Oh my God!
You're thinking Starks from Georgia. Malachi Starks from Georgia. That's who you're probably.
No, not him. I'm not him. I think I'm thinking of Emmanuel. God, no. There's a guy with a long name that is a safety. He's kind of a hybrid safety. It's going to drive.
You're talking about the South Carolina safety, the one that ran 6'3" and he ran like a fast 40 for his size. Yeah, I can't get his name either, but now I know who you're talking about. But
it's got a long name. It's not an easy name. I know that. Yeah, I'm mixing them up.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, that happens draft season, man.
He's a heck of a player, though. I know that. He's a safety / corner kind of hybrid with long arms. And
Emawari,
thank you. Ezeraku Emawari. See, I'm getting the long names confused. I don't know. I feel like he might be a good one for the Bucs as well. Emmanuel.
Yeah, Joey's right. Nick Emmanuel. He could be a good. Yep. They won't be considered, in my opinion.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. Plus says that.
I trust Bless more than me. I just look at the 2-minute highlight videos.
Joey, what say you on the state of the Colts? If you could see them add one more free agent before draft time comes, what position would you prefer?
Since we shored up the defense, I would like a tight end that could breathe. For the most part, would be nice. I mean, in all honesty, if you look at last year's statistics, we ranked 31st out of 32 teams in tight end efficiency. Listen, when you have a quarterback like Anthony Richardson who's still trying to find his own, and by the way, people shouldn't be freaking out on him. Trust me on this offseason. I'm not saying great things to come, but better than the past. If you have a tight end who can blanket and help out your quarterback by getting those 5 to 10 yard catches when the receivers are not doing their job, it is the safety valve, the safety blanket, whatever people call it. That's what you need a tight end to do. You can't have unreliable tight ends who are just blocking / not really getting mixed up in the offense. Tight end is still a big part of the game, whether you like it or not. You could have your hybrid tight end. You could have your, big bodied, whatever you want to call it. You need a guy there that's inside the numbers that could really get you some yards to help your quarterback out, especially ones who struggles with accuracy. So that's all I'm going to keep hyping, because I know a lot of people say receiver. It would be nice to add a receiver, but we do have Pittman's, Pierce, Downs, and then A.D. Mitchell, who didn't do much as a rookie, but he could look to develop. Tight end room, not many people can name more than one tight end, if at all, from our room. So we need to address that ASAP.
Mo Alley Cox? Is that still a tight end?
There you go. Now
that's the only one I can name.
And he's in free agent right now, technically. So we could bring him back to block. We usually like to do that. We give him 1 year for some change. But like you said, exactly, besides a former VCU basketball standout, Mo Alley Cox, there hasn't been much to really talk about there. So I'm really hoping that we address that greatly, either through the draft or Dallas Goedert.
Goddard would be a good get.
To add to Barron and Imaware, he wouldn't be surprised if they went either, or he would be surprised, but wouldn't rule it out completely, as they have shocked me before. So there you have it. But Joey, I agree. And, I think the Colts tight end room, I'm not shy to say, was like the worst in NFL history last year. So I'd add one through the draft. I'd add a free agent if possible.
Yeah.
Adding. J-Lo, quickly, Kat, you got something to add in?
Well, yeah, that's why I say with pass rushers, and I always am going to say there's not enough pass rushers. I'm always going to say you need more, because I feel like, you've seen that work so many times. When teams win the Super Bowl, they probably got multiple edge rushers. I was going to ask, and maybe this is a topic for another time, I don't know, the player from Florida whose name I can't remember now, but he weighs 464 pounds. Where do you see him getting?
Watson.
Thank you. Yeah. How high do you see him getting picked? Can he have a full NFL career? We've seen guys like Gilbert Brown have full career. Can we see a guy, though? Can he, at that weight, have an NFL career that's at least, a couple of years? Can he last? I'm really intrigued by this one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, J-Lo, what say you on the Florida Cat and the state of the Bucs free agency? Who'd you like him to add before it's all done?
I agree with Cats on a pass rusher. You can never have enough. Whether they draft one, which I think they will, first, second, or third, whatever they go with. Desmond Watson, he's gifted for a big boy. Florida really utilized him a lot in the run stuffing game. And he's not afraid to lay the boom either. That's what I really like about him. They even used him at running back during the bowl game, which was even awesome. So the guy, to me, he's probably going to be a later round, 6 or 7. There's so much D-tackle talent in this draft for the most part. So that's my opinion on Desmond Watson. But he'll go either later rounds or undrafted. But I would so welcome him in to put him behind Vita Vea.
Me too.
Yeah. One big guy to another, I'll take it.
I wouldn't mind if the Bucs, say if all their options depleted, if they did trade down. Not that I'm a huge fan of it, but just say if things didn't go their way, I wouldn't be highly opposed to it. But I think the Bucs still add a guy or two before the draft. Jason Light never shies away from adding people. We added Ndamukong Suh in May. I just wouldn't rule anything out with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. and
The
when they're going.
second wave of free agency.
Well,
A lot of times it's after the draft, though. I
well,
think usually after.
I got one for y'all. Would you welcome back Shaq Barrett as a vet minimum, as a
Well, it
rotation
depends.
guy?
That topic has to come after the draft
Okay,
because
gotcha.
you can't really. Your edge room is full now. If you presumably draft an edge, Shaq has no opportunity to even make the Bucs roster. You look at the state of the edge room. Sadly, it just is what it is. Now, if the Bucs don't draft an edge in round one, yeah, that convo could be had. But as of right now, you're talking. You got Yaya Diaby already on one side of it, Hassan Reddick on one side of it, Anthony Nelson, Chris Braswell. That's already 4 out of your 5 or 6 active roster spots for edge rushers on game day. So if you draft one, that's 5. You got Jose Ramirez and Marquis Swats. I really would find it hard to believe. You got to wait till after the draft to have this convo because if you draft one in round one, I love Shaq Barrett. I love what he's done here, but sadly, unless he wants to be on the practice squad and maybe inactive on game days, I don't think that's something Shaq would really be interested in, though. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But Plus says could see free agent center adding into the mix, free agent safety. I would lean safety or defensive back. Center, I think with Opeta back, and we got our swing tackle and Heck. I think the Bucs are going to draft an O-line. I think they draft 5 defenders, 1 offensive player. So there you have it. But yeah, I don't think Shaq returns, and I don't even think you could entertain the idea until we see how the edge room shakes out. Not that it's a bad thought, J-Lo, but our hands are kind of just in our pockets. Same with Will Golston, right? You got to wait and see if we draft a veteran or rookie D lineman and, the state of the room. Exactly, Chris. We got to see how the draft shakes out, and so to speak. But before we get to our final word and breadwinners, want to give everyone an update on Breadwinner Season 2. We have 12 wins, 6 losses, and a plus $70 net profit margin on the year for Breadwinners so far. And plus, I do agree with that. We saw it a couple times having a designated backup center. That's why I think we might draft one and groom one, or we might you never know who we can maybe move there. But I do agree that they do like having a designated backup center. I do think we draft an O-lineman as well. But we're 12-6 on the season, fellas and Breadwinners. J-Lo and I went 2-0 last week. J-Lo had Florida over Maryland, $20 to win 7. I had women's UConn and UCLA moneyline parlay, $20 to win 9. So we're up to 12-6 plus $70 net profit on the season here on our Sunday FUNDAY Buccateers. Once again, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, turn the like button on, or I switch those, but whatever the hell the case might be, everybody catches my drifts. We're minutes away from baseball, about half hour away there. UFL is underway. March Madness, Match Martinus is coming up in about an hour and a half or so. So we got to get the fellas on a roll here on a Sunday. Beautiful Sunday in Chicago. I'm sure it's the same in the Tampa area as well. So we're going to get people motoring through the day, but join us every Saturday or Sunday morning. It's a little bit of local sports talk for the Tampa area, a little bit of national sports talk. I know a certain radio station could use more local shows out there, so make sure to plug us in if need. Before we get to Breadwinners and final words, Richard says, I wouldn't mind if Bucs drafted a cornerback in the first if one of the big names fell. Well, I hear them in Notre Dame corner being rumored in round 2, maybe if he falls to round 2.
Morrison? Benjamin Morrison? Is that who you're referring to?
Yep.
I've heard that name quite a few times. Yeah.
Yep. I see that name linked to the Bucs a little bit. So we'll see how that shakes out. But J-Lo, Breadwinner, final word. What say you on the Sunday FUNDAY Buccateers, brother?
So on Breadwinner, I'm going to go with Tennessee over Houston.
Oh,
knocking Houston out. You can say what you want. Hey,
I love that pick.
Hey, give me Tennessee knocking out Houston. SEC is very strong in basketball. I don't care what you say. SEC. And then my final word is, I'll try to be a better attitude on the Rays. not vent too much after 2 games, Cat. So thank you very much for that recovery.
J-Lo, are you going with Tennessee +3 or Tennessee money line?
Give me Tennessee money line. I
That
think
would
it's going to
be-
be a real close one. Come down to a layup or a last minute shot.
I think Tennessee wins it all. I'm going to give my bold prediction. I think the Tennessee Vols are good.
Well, my Final Four is shaping up. Like, I had Duke, Florida, and then I got Michigan State and Tennessee. So there's a good chance. And I better hear apology tour by Joey.
Oh, listen, stop kissing your own ass. I'm sick of, you know what? Go make a PB&J Smuckers and stick it between those cheeks. All you've been doing is clenching with your Final Four and your championship. Let me tell you, you just ruined my lock of the day because you had to go ahead and choose a rival school to your Florida Gators. You should be embarrassed to be choosing Tennessee right now.
Wow.
Okay, Shade, okay.
J-Lo just fucking melted like butter after Joey came at him. Cats, you got a final word or you got a breadwinner for us? Once again, we're 12-6 plus $70. Cats, I think you're undefeated with your breadwinners so far.
I don't have a final word really, but I will give a breadwinner. I will go over to the NHL. I don't have the slate of games in front of me. That's okay. I remember one. I know a couple that are going on.
I can go through them.
No, I already got this one, and I'm Carolina Hurricanes to beat the Islanders, who are skating on a tough back-to-back. Who have their backup goalie in net, and Carolina's been very hot lately, so I like them at home over the Islanders. Just do money line. I don't know what goal spreads in hockey are really quirky. That I know it could be weird. I'm sure they're heavily favored. I'm guessing 2.5 goals. I'm guessing.
Still worth it. 20 to win $7. That's what we do here.
Carolina Hurricanes.
We tack on. Joey, final word and breadwinner for you, my friend. So far, we got J-Lo with Tennessee money line, Cats with Hurricanes money line. Are you going to go different sport, or what are you doing?
Well, I was thinking about going baseball until J-Lo took the opposition, which is okay. He'll have to sit there and lose a breadwinner for us and ruin a pick, but it's going to happen. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually going to the MLB, and I'm going to Tampa Bay Rays. They're facing a pitcher whose ERA might get better by the year, but sadly, he's never been under 4.5. He goes by the name of Ryan Feltner. I'm not trusting this dude. Never heard of him. Don't care to know him. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays at home in their new outside. I love the freshness of them being outside. I think today, a lot of people, I was giving them crap for one run. They did have 12 hits yesterday. People just want to look past that.
The Rockies made a bunch of great defensive plays. I mean, I'm not familiar with the team very much, but they saved a bunch of runs defensively on hard hit balls. Sometimes you're just unlucky.
Exactly. So I think those balls find open spots on the field today, and the Rays come up with a big win and win this series. And then my final word is, J-Lo, I liked you at the beginning of the show, not so much at the end. Have a good day, my friend.
Hey, my breadwinner is Andrew Heaney, over 3.5 strikeouts at the Marlins. He's a Pittsburgh pitcher, former Marlins prospect. $20 to win 11 for over 3.5 Ks. So give me that. And my final word is, no matter if it's a UFL, March Madness, baseball, enjoy yourself. My Michigan Panthers are up 3-0 on Memphis.
There is 8.5 people at this game.
Oh my God, the hate. Fire the damn cannons on behalf of Cat. Oops, Joey Sockless. We got to get the hell out of here before his pants fly off next or something. But God bless and goodbye, everybody. Happy Sunday. Cats, J-Lo, Tones, Joey Nips saying peace. Fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs. And fellas, better late than never. Our new Buccateer. J-Lo, you got yours, but Cats, I got your stuff shipping this week, brother. So Godspeed on that. So, yeah, sorry, I don't know why I'm 2 or 3 months late, but it is what it is. Better late than never, guys. So, peace out, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Go Rays, go Cubs, go Lightning, and go Gators for J-Lo. Go Bucs. Game of on Sunday, man? I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Bucs fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No,